What if I told you there's a place where waterfalls plunge directly into the ocean, where a lake appears to float above the sea, and where grass-roofed villages cling to dramatic cliffs surrounded by the wild North Atlantic? Welcome to the Faroe Islands, an archipelago of 18 volcanic islands, where dramatic landscapes, ancient Viking culture, and untouched nature create one of Europe's most breathtaking destinations. Hey, eco-travelers! Welcome back to Eco Nomad Travel, your guide to the world's most stunning destinations. Today, we're venturing to the Faroe Islands, a remote Nordic paradise with towering sea cliffs, cascading waterfalls, colorful villages, and landscapes that look like they're from another world. We're counting down the top 12 places that make the Faroe Islands absolutely magical. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our sustainable travel guides. And if the Faroe Islands are calling to your adventurous spirit, show some love with a thumbs up. Let's explore this Nordic wonderland together. Ready? Let's go! Starting at number 12, Fuglafjordur, a charming fishing village nestled at the end of a dramatic fjord on the island of Eysturoy. The town's name means bird fjord, and it remains one of the Faroe Islands' most important fishing ports. Explore the colorful houses lining the harbor, visit the local church with its distinctive architecture, and walk along the waterfront watching fishing boats return with their catch. The surrounding mountains create a stunning amphitheater around the village, with hiking trails leading to spectacular viewpoints. Visit during the summer music festival, when the town comes alive with traditional Faroes chain dancing and live performances. The village maintains an authentic atmosphere, with fewer tourists than other destinations. Take a drive through the undersea tunnel connecting to other islands. Is the fishing village charm, or the mountain hiking your Fuglafjordur priority? At number 11, Mykines Island, the westernmost island in the Faroe Islands, and a birdwatcher's paradise. With thousands of puffins nesting on the dramatic sea cliffs. Access the island by helicopter or ferry from Sørvágur, with the boat journey offering stunning coastal views. Hike across the island to the iconic Mykines lighthouse perched on a narrow isthmus connecting to the Mykines Holmur Islet. The trail takes you through puffin colonies, where these adorable seabirds nest in the grassy cliffs from April to August. Watch puffins taking off and landing just meters away. Spot gannets diving into the ocean, and see guillemots crowding the cliff ledges. The village of Mykines with its turf-roofed houses offers basic guest houses and a tiny cafe. The island has limited visitor numbers to protect the fragile ecosystem. The hike to the lighthouse takes about 45 minutes each way across stunning landscapes. Puffin encounters or lighthouse hikes. What excites you most about Mykines? Number 10 brings us to the Vestmanna Sea Cliffs, some of the most dramatic coastal cliffs in the North Atlantic, rising up to 700 meters directly from the ocean. Take a boat tour from the town of Vestmanna into narrow grottos, sea caves, and along the towering cliff faces. The vertical cliffs are home to thousands of seabirds, including fulmars, kittiwakes, guillemots, and razorbills nesting on the tiny ledges. The boat navigates through the sea stacks and into the caves where the sound of crashing waves echoes off the rock walls. The sheer scale of the cliffs is overwhelming. Looking up from the boat at the vertical rock faces disappearing into the clouds creates an unforgettable perspective. The tours run from April to September, when the weather permits and the birds are nesting. The experienced local guides share stories about the cliffs and the traditional fouling practices. This is one of the most accessible ways to experience the Faroe Islands' dramatic coastline. Sea caves or bird colonies. What's your Vestmanna priority? At number 9, Kalur Lighthouse, perched on the northern tip of Kalsoy Island, offering one of the most iconic and dramatic viewpoints in the Faroe Islands. The hike to the lighthouse takes about 45 minutes from the village of Trelawness, through rolling hills and past steep cliffs. The trail is relatively easy, but becomes exposed near the lighthouse, where you'll walk along narrow ridges with sheer drops on both sides. The views from the lighthouse are absolutely breathtaking. Jagged peaks, vertical cliffs plunging into the turbulent sea, and the distinctive red-topped lighthouse standing alone on the headland. On clear days, You can see across to other islands in the archipelago. The hike becomes challenging in strong winds or rain, which are common in the Faroe Islands. Many visitors consider this the most spectacular viewpoint in the entire archipelago. The lighthouse itself is not open to visitors, but the surrounding area offers countless photography opportunities. Dramatic viewpoints or lighthouse photography. What draws you to Kalur? Number 8 takes us to Kalsoy Island, the Flute Island, named for its long, narrow shape with a single road connecting 4 small villages through mountain tunnels. Access the island by ferry from Klaksvik and drive through the illuminated tunnels carved through the mountains. Each village, Húsar, Mikladalur, Trolanis, and Djupadalur, offers unique charm with colorful houses nestled between towering mountains and the sea. Visit the legend of the Seal Woman statue in Mikladalur, a haunting sculpture based on local folklore. The island is famous for the hike to Kalur Lighthouse at the northern end. Kalsoy offers an authentic Faroes experience with dramatic landscapes, traditional villages, and limited tourism infrastructure. The tunnels themselves are an adventure. Some are one lane with passing places carved into the rock. The entire island can be explored in a day trip. Tunnel driving or village exploring. What's your Kalsoy style? At number 7, Kirkjubur, the Faroe Islands' most important historical site, with ancient ruins and the oldest inhabited wooden house in the world. This small village on the southern tip of Streymoy was once the religious and cultural center of the islands. Visit the 13th century St. Olav's Church, still in use today, and explore the ruins of the Magnus Cathedral that was never completed. The Roykstoven farmhouse has been inhabited by the same family for 17 generations since 1100 AD. The village offers stunning views across the Sound to the island of Hester. Walk among the ancient stone walls, visit the small museum, and learn about Viking history and medieval Christianity in the North Atlantic. The coastal walk from Kirkjubur to Tórshavn takes about 3 hours along the dramatic cliffs. The village remains a working farm community maintaining centuries-old traditions. Is the ancient history or the coastal scenery your Kirkjubur interest? Number 6 brings us to Gjógv, arguably the most picturesque village in the Faroe Islands, with its natural harbor formed by a dramatic gorge cutting through the cliffs to the sea. The village's name literally means gorge, and the steep-sided inlet has protected fishing boats for centuries. Walk down to the gorge where stone steps lead to the natural harbor surrounded by towering rock walls. The colorful turf-roofed houses climb the hillsides overlooking the dramatic coastline. Hike the trail from Gjógv to the Ambadalur Valley through stunning mountain landscapes. The village has a cozy guest house and cafe serving traditional Faroes food. Despite its beauty, Gjógv remains peaceful with few tourists compared to other attractions. The surrounding hiking trails offer spectacular views across the northern islands. Visit the small church and walk through the narrow lanes between the traditional houses. Natural harbor or mountain hiking? What's your Gjógv priority? At number 5, Saksun, a fairy tale village in a remote valley surrounded by towering mountains, with a picturesque tidal lagoon and black sand beach. The village consists of just a few grass-roofed farmhouses clustered around a small stone church, creating one of the most photographed scenes in the Faroe Islands. At high tide, the lagoon fills with water reflecting the surrounding peaks, while at low tide, it becomes a sandy beach perfect for exploring. Walk down to the beach through the valley. Visit the historic Duvugardur Farmhouse Museum, and hike into the surrounding mountains for panoramic views. The valley was once connected to the sea through a natural harbor, but a storm in the 18th century created the sand barrier that formed the lagoon. The isolation and dramatic setting make Saksun feel like stepping back in time. The 1-hour drive from Tórshavn through mountain passes and tunnels is an adventure itself. Tidal lagoon or turf-roofed village? What captures your imagination about Saksun? At number 4, Trelanipa Cliffs, the dramatic Slave Cliff, rising 142 meters above the ocean on the island of Vágar, with legends of ancient sacrifice. Stand at the edge of this sheer cliff, carefully, for vertigo-inducing views straight down to the crashing waves below. The cliffs overlook the famous Survagsvatn Lake and offer a different perspective of this optical illusion. According to legend, Vikings threw their slaves off this cliff during the pre-Christian era. The hike to Trelanipa starts from the same parking area as the Survagsvatn Trail, but branches off toward the coast. The exposed cliff top can be extremely windy. Exercise extreme caution near the edge, as there are no barriers. On clear days, the views extend across multiple islands in the archipelago. The dramatic drop creates one of the most thrilling viewpoints in the Faroe Islands. Many visitors combine the Trelanipa and Survagsvatn hikes in one trip. Clifftop thrills or ancient legends. What draws you to Trelanipa? Number 3 takes us to Survagsvatn, the optical illusion lake that appears to float high above the ocean, creating one of the world's most mind-bending natural phenomena. Also known as Latisvatn, this is the largest lake in the Faroe Islands, sitting 30 meters above sea level. The perspective from the Trelanipa cliffs makes it look like the lake sits hundreds of meters above the ocean, defying gravity. The popular hike from Trelanipa parking area takes about 45 minutes across rolling hills to reach the viewpoint. Watch the lake's outflow plunge directly over the cliff at Bustalafossar waterfall into the ocean below. The dramatic perspective has made this one of the most photographed locations in the Faroe Islands. The hike continues around the lake, offering different viewpoints and photography angles. Bring warm, waterproof clothing as the weather can change rapidly. The surreal landscape creates unforgettable images, optical illusion, or waterfall views. What's your Survagsvatn dream? At number 2, Molafossar Waterfall. The iconic cascade plunging directly from the lake into the ocean beside the picturesque village of Gásadalur. This is perhaps the single most photographed location in the Faroe Islands, with the waterfall, ocean, and traditional village creating a perfect composition. Until 2004, Gásadalur was only accessible by a difficult mountain hike or by helicopter, making it one of the most isolated villages in Europe. Now a tunnel through the mountain makes it easily accessible. Walk through the tiny village with its grass-roofed houses and church to reach the viewpoint overlooking the waterfall. The 60-meter cascade flows year-round, with the volume increasing during the rainy season. The viewpoint sits on the cliff edge, offering dramatic perspectives of the waterfall against the vast Atlantic Ocean. Visit during the golden hour for magical light illuminating the falls. The village has just a handful of houses, with a population of around 18 people. Is the waterfall drama or the isolated village your Molafossar priority? And at number 1, Tórshavn, the world's smallest capital city, and the charming heart of the Faroe Islands, with colorful houses, historic districts, and modern Nordic culture. The old town of Mykines features red wooden houses, with grass roofs dating back centuries, creating the most picturesque harbor scene imaginable. This peninsula has been the seat of Faroe's government since Viking times in 900 AD. Explore the narrow lanes of Mykines, visit the historic Skansen fortress overlooking the harbor, and discover the Nordic House Cultural Center with its striking grass-roofed architecture. Tórshavn offers excellent restaurants serving traditional Faroese cuisine with modern twists. Try the fermented lamb, fresh seafood, and local produce. The city combines Viking history with contemporary Nordic design, cozy cafes, and a thriving art scene. Walk along the harbor, visit the National Museum, and experience the local music scene at intimate venues. Despite being a capital, Tórshavn maintains a village atmosphere, with friendly locals and a relaxed pace. The city serves as the perfect base for exploring the islands. Is Tórshavn's historic charm or the culinary scene your capital city dream? And there you have it, the top 12 best places to visit in the unseen Faroe Islands. From Molafossar's dramatic waterfall to the optical illusion lake and ancient Viking villages, the Faroe Islands offer raw Nordic beauty and unforgettable landscapes in stunning isolation. Ready to plan your Faroes adventure? Visit us at economadtravel.com for detailed sustainable travel guides, hiking tips, and accommodation recommendations. All the booking links for boat tours, village stays, and island-hopping ferries are in the description below. Which Faroe Islands destination captured your wild heart? Drop your favorite in the comments. If you loved this video, hit that like button and subscribe to Eco Nomad Travel for more sustainable travel guides. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our next adventure. Until next time, travel responsibly and explore with purpose. See you in the next one.